Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sneha and I'll be your moderator today. So, welcome to a procurement automation webinar. I hope you all are having a great day and we are thrilled to have you here with us. I am joined by Mr. Vikas Mandayawala, who is the co-founder of TyaSuite Software Solutions and is also the CEO of TyaSuite Business Solutions. So, he comes up with more than 22 years of experience working with multinational corporations in a variety of roles, including accounting, auditing, and taxation. So he's a gold medalist, CA rank holder, company secretary, a certified public accountant from US, and a certified internal auditor as well. So like today, basically, we'll be talking about the pain points of manual procurement process and what benefits startups and SMEs would be getting in automating this manual processes so that you can meet the objectives that you have set for your company. So that's all from my end. Let's get to it. Vikas, excited to have you here with us. Please tell a little bit about you and TyaSuite.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. Very good afternoon to everyone. I hope everyone is doing wonderful today. So, as Sneha briefed me, just a quick intro about myself. I started TYA Group as a financial accounting advisory company in 2013 after leaving my job at KPMG. Prior to that, I had 10 plus years of experience in the accounting advisory and auditing field. Since 2012, I have been advising various startups and SMEs for their accounting and compliances and process improvements. And in 2018, I founded TyaSuite as a procurement automation company. And since then, we have been helping a lot of clients in automating their procurement function and going digital. Till today, we have helped more than 100 clients in going digital. So that's the brief about myself, guys. And let's come to the agenda for today. If you see, we have briefly, we have covered in today's agenda about procurement process. Okay. So our first topic will be industry standard procurement process. Then you will be able to know what are the risks and pain points associated with manual process. Then we will also cover areas of procurement process that can benefit from automation. Then we will also cover key advantage of automating your buying process. And last, we will cover how TyaSuite procurement software can help you automate your procurement process. So if you see the industry standard procurement process, so if you guys are in procurement function, so can we get a quick poll, Sneha, about the profile of the people participating in this webinar today?
Sure, just a second.
Sure. So just get into the role of the people. Are you from a procurement function, or you are from a finance function, or founder, or any other role? So as Sneha mentioned, you will get an activities tab in your option on your screen, and where you can go to the poll and click on the poll and answer your poll. You would have received a pop-up button on your screen. So we request everyone to participate in the poll so that we can know out of 26 people, how many people are from which domain. Okay, great. So we have results here, and you can see the results on this dashboard as well. We have 11 people from the procurement function. Okay, we have 2 people from the founder group. We have 1 person from the finance and 2 person from the others domain. So great. So I think we have a great combination of people in this webinar today. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this poll. So let's continue. So if you see here, the industry standard procurement process, what it should be. Okay, it's not necessary that this will be the same process for your company currently, or there may be some deviation in this process. But this is the industry standard procurement process. First, the user department will raise the requisition. Normally, we call it the purchase requisition or requisition. Okay, that requisition goes to the procurement department after approval. Okay, in this process flow, we have not covered the approval. It is assumed that every activity in your company is happening after due approval. So once the requisition is raised, it will go to the procurement team for taking the quotation. So based on your company policy, 1 quotation, 2 quotation, 3 multiple quotation, okay, you may be able to compile quotation as per your company policy. Then once your procurement team have compiled the quotations, they will compare the quotation, and based on price, based on various other factors, they will select a vendor. Once the vendor gets selected, they will raise the PO. That is called purchase order. Once the PO is sent to the vendor, and again, definitely PO has to be approved by various level of people inside your company, then you will receive the goods or services, that we call it goods receipt note and quality checking. Once that is done, once you receive the vendor invoice, you will be able to process the vendor invoice based on the goods or services received. And once vendor invoice gets approved on the due date, you will make the payment to the vendor. This is the typical procurement process in the industry. Now we are going to cover what are the risks associated with the manual process. So basically, there are various risks which a manual procurement process can pose to a company. And to compile this list, we have interviewed more than 1,000 companies over the last 4 years. And that's how we have compiled the list of top risk which a manual procurement process has in any company. Any size of the company, you carry this risk. The first risk is the entire process is manual. Then all approvals are manual. So everything requisition has to be approved. You have to either draft a requisition on the paper or a pre-printed form, or you will fill a Google form, or you will send an email to your approver. And same thing, once the quotation comes, all the quotations are compiled manually, and then POs is approved manually, and so on. So all the approvals are manual in the company. Then all the reminders to the approvers are manually done on urgency through emails or phone calls. So whenever you need a PO to be approved, the PO is lying with the approver for many days, or on his email box for many days, and he will approve only on the urgency basis. Then there's a company approval matrix not followed. Many times you will find that the approval matrix which is designed by the company is not followed for any approval, and nobody can catch that. It comes to the limelight only when there's an audit by the external auditor at the year end. That's a big risk. Then you have a TDS non-compliances. At many times you will find TDS is deducted very late in the company. Okay, either TDS is deducted at the wrong rate, or TDS is not deducted, or deducted in the under the wrong section. Then many times you will find duplicate payments. Okay, the same invoice gets paid twice to the vendor by mistake. Okay, because either you have accounted that invoice twice, or you have done the payment twice. Then sometime the GST input credit is taken wrong. You are not supposed to take the input credit, and you have taken it. Then many times we have noted that the payments to the vendor happens in the wrong bank account. This applies when you are making the online payment. Definitely, if you are making the check payment, you can control that, but 95% of the business today are making online payments to the vendor. And then no policy for raising the PO. What goods, what service, what amount the company has put a PO policy. Say many companies will say more than 50,000 rupees procurement, a PO has to be there in the company. Okay, so all those are the risks which normally a typical manual process has. Okay, definitely there are a few other risks which we have not covered here. We have covered only top risk which we compiled based on more than 1,000 companies interviews over the last 4 years. Now we are going to cover what are the areas of the procurement process that can benefit from automation. So basically, each and every area of the procurement process has a significant scope of automation. As we have seen in the standard procurement process, that there is a purchase requisition, quotation, purchase order, GRN, invoice, and payment. In every segment, there is a huge option and opportunity to bring automation and save a huge cost to your company. So if you talk about purchase requisition, okay, we can completely eliminate the emails or verbal request by the company's users. Say if I need a laptop, or I need some material, or I need any service or anything required for the company use, I can simply in the automated procurement system simply fill a form and raise a request. And that request will automatically go to my approver, and approver will be reminded to approve the request. And once the request gets approved, it will automatically go to procurement team. So you can significantly save the huge manpower cost in your company by automating just the requisition process. Then comes to the purchase order. So the entire cycle of the quotation comparison, like currently you are emailing one by one to all the vendors to send the quotations to the company. Once the quotations are received, you are compiling the quotations. If quotations are not received, then you are making a reminder calls to the vendors to send the quotation. All those things can be eliminated by bringing automation to the purchase order process. Then vendor management. This is again a significant area where most of the companies lack today. Vendor management, where vendor master is not updated properly or they don't have the KYC document. Many companies do have a process for taking various vendor onboarding document, but the same is not stored at one place and which is accessible. By bringing any kind of a procurement tool automation, the vendor master management becomes much easier and accessible. Then you can GRN and service receipt note. Everything flows through the system. No need to do a manual data feeding. Whenever you receive the goods, just you click a button and the GRN and SRN gets created. Then invoice management. Once the GRN SRN gets approved, then you will be able to add the invoice in the system, and the system will take care of the automated three-way match in an automated process. Otherwise, the person who is the in charge of the invoicing, he has to ensure that he is manually checking the entire three-way match, that is the PO price, approved quantity, and the invoice price and invoice quantity. And if your invoice has 10 items, 20 line items, it becomes a bulky task for anybody to do manually, and a lot of chance of error in this manual process. So through an automation, this can be automated completely within seconds. Automation tool will give you an automated three-way match of your invoices. And then you can be always on the top of your vendor pending invoices. You can plan your cash flow. The system will give you reminders for the upcoming payments, and all those things can be streamlined through automation tool. And definitely the automated recurring invoices. Many companies will have multiple offices. You have to pay rent for the multiple office, electricity, internet, or various other recurring costs, which sometimes you tend to forget. It delays the process, and sometimes we have seen many companies has to stop their factory because electricity was not paid on time. So all those things can be eliminated through automated recurring invoice modules within the procurement automation tool. So as we have seen in the previous slides, in each and every part of the procurement process, there is a huge scope of automation. So let's look at the key benefits of automating procurement process. And this will be more or less aligned with what we have discussed in the previous slide. You can digitize entire procurement process. You can centralize procurement database for faster decisions in the company. You can eliminate manual follow-ups. The entire follow-ups can be done by the system can send the reminder email, system can send the reminder messages to the approver. Then you can speed up the entire procurement process and save significant time and also cost to the company. We have seen we have eliminated the PO approval time on an average 7 days to 1 day in companies where we have implemented the procurement automation software. Then reduce 90% plus processing time on the recurring invoices. As I mentioned in the previous slide, recurring bills like rent, electricity, internet, or any other recurring expenses, you can just enter into the system at once and you are free for the lifetime. Automatically on the due date, system is going to create the invoice for you. You have to just come and update the physical copy of the invoice in the system by scanning. That's it. Everything else will be automatically created by the system throughout your life cycle of the recurring invoices. Then you can manage vendor performance. You can have a transparent quotation management system where you can ensure that none of your team members are able to see the any vendor's quotation before the deadline, so that entire transparency of the procurement process is maintained. Then you can ensure on-time payments to your vendor. You can have a strict compliances with your internal approval metrics, authority metrics, where if you have defined, say for example, up to 50,000 rupees invoice, your procurement executive has to approve, then procurement manager will approve, then it will go to CFO, and so on. Everything will be followed strictly by the system. Then you can achieve 100% accuracy in the TDS and GST compliances. Timely book closure can be achieved through the procurement automation system, and significant time saving during audit and due diligence process. These are the significant benefits of automating your procurement process. Now let's look at how TyaSuite can offer significant benefits by automating your procurement process. So as we have seen, there's a significant opportunity in the procurement function to automate each and every process, and TyaSuite exactly does the same. So it will automate your entire procurement function from the requisition till the vendor payment. And we have covered top functions, top benefits of the TyaSuite, how TyaSuite can help you. Seamless vendor onboarding with GST verification and KYC management. GST of the vendor can be verified automatically once you add the vendor. You can add multiple KYC documents. You can fix their due dates. A system will send reminders to the vendor to upload the document when it expires, and so on. Smart digital requisition with custom approval metrics. You can have a digital requisition system and you can define your approval metrics for your company depending on the amount, depending on the department, and all those combinations. Then you can automate quotation comparison. So system will give you automated comparison, who is L1, who is L2, and so on. And you can take a decision to whom you want to award the quotation. Your approver also will be able to see the quotation comparison in a click of the button on his system. And you can automate PO to the vendor. So once the quotation is approved, a PO can be released to the vendor automatically. No need to send a manual PO to the vendor. Then auto reminders to the approval. This is seen as a significant bottleneck in the procurement process, and it consumes a significant time that anything like PO does not get approved on time. And person has to keep following up, keep changing your procurement manager, your CFO to approve the POs. And by implementing TyaSuite, you can automate these functions, and reminder will go, escalations will go to the right person as per your company policy, and the person will be bound to approve the document within the defined time of your company. Then system will automated do three-way match of the PO price, good received quantity, invoice price, and invoice quantity. And if there is anything excess, system will automatically raise a debit note to the vendor. No need to do anything manually. Then TyaSuite will automatically deduct your TDS from the vendor depending on the items, depending on the sections of the TDS. And it will also manage the lower TDS in the system. Then auto reminders for the payment. Based on the due dates, you can set the due dates of all the vendors. You can manage the MSME payments within 45 days. All those reminders you can set in the system, and system will ensure that you are always on time to your vendors. You can integrate your approval metrics for PO, invoice, and payments in TyaSuite and work accordingly. You can also automate bank payments directly through bank. You don't need to cut the checks. You don't need to do any manual upload of the files. Directly, once the payment gets approved in TyaSuite, it will go to your bank portal, and you can approve the payment directly from the bank portal. You can also integrate TyaSuite to any of your ERP, whether you are in Tally, whether you are in Zoho, whether you are in SAP, Oracle, Sage, any ERP, you can integrate TyaSuite so that invoice accounting entry can be posted in your ERP automatically without any manual intervention. This will significantly save time and cost to your finance department. And then the last but not the least, TyaSuite can be implemented in just 7 days time, and you can go live and start working and enjoying the benefits of automation. Thank you very much, everyone. And we have some, if anybody has any questions, they will be able to raise the questions in the question section, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So there is an activity icon. You can click on the Q&A section and type your questions, and we'll be happy to answer. You can click on ask a question button. If you see on the screen, you can click on the ask a question button and then pose your questions here and click on the post. Once you type anything, then click on the post.
So we have one question from Imroj Khan.
Okay. So thanks, Imroj, for your question. The question is cost analysis with other ERP services. Okay, so if you really look at the cost of TyaSuite versus any other procurement software, okay, you will save at least 50% in the cost, as I mentioned, we are the fastest go live and implementation. We can just implement in 7 days. So overall, it will be a win-win situation for your company. Any other questions from the participants?
So we have Neil who wanted to know how does GST validation work.
Mere GST verification, we have integrated with the GST portal. Okay, and based on the once you type your GST number of the vendor while onboarding the vendor, the system will automatically go in the GST website and verify and bring back the verification results to you, and you can accordingly update your vendor master. Okay, so we have questions from Nilesh Mehta. Have you implemented this for any hospital? Which is which one, and what is the feedback? Okay, so currently we have not implemented this procurement software in any hospital, but we have done for a large pharmaceutical production company. Okay, and they are in Sage ERP software. They have taken our ERP for the procurement automation and connecting with their Sage. Then we have a question from A.B. Gupta. How exactly does the automated matching of receipt, goods, price and quantity happen work? Currently, there is a manual counting. How will the change? Okay. So in the system, you have already raised a purchase order in the TyaSuite. Then in the next section, when you are received the goods, you have just counted and entered in the system how many quantity you are receiving against the PO. Okay. Then when it comes to the invoice page, the system will automatically check what was the PO quantity, what is the goods received quantity, and what is the invoice quantity. And whatever is the lower of these three, system will pass the bill. And if there is any excess bills is received, system will automatically do a debit note. Okay, so there is a question, is there any provision to the vendor to add their data by their own when we invite new vendor? Yes, we have a vendor portal, dedicated vendor portal, where you can just invite the vendor and vendor will be able to add all their data, attach all their KYC document. It will come to company and company can review and approve the vendor. Okay, we have another question from Nilesh. Can your system be configured for hospital setup integration with the patient care management software? So the answer, Nilesh, is yes. The procurement system can be integrated with any of your system because our entire system is API based. So we can connect to your patient care system as well. The question from Khushbu Datani, will GRN be linked with our current ERP system? So any linkage to your ERP system and integration is required. The answer to this is yes. It can be integrated with existing ERPs. If anyone has additional questions, please feel free to ask the question and we'll be happy to reply. So this system, when we call about the procurement system, it covers everything. Okay, whether it is goods or service, and marketing spend comes as a service. You can procure both through this software. Then we have a question from Nilesh. Do you charge individual licenses fee or it is a lump sum amount? So Nilesh, it's a individual licenses fee. You will be charged based on the number of licenses you subscribe. As it is a completely cloud-based software, you don't pay anything else on an annual basis. It's a one-time implementation fee, and then only you pay for the user subscription across the lifetime. So Khushbu Datani, do you need to create a service as an item? Yes. So any goods or service you procure, that has to be created as an item in the system. Any other questions from the participants? Okay. So there is no other questions seems to be from the participant. Okay, Khushbu has one question. Any current customer feedback if you can share? Startups? Yes, Khushbu. We have many customers in the startup segment. Okay. You can read our feedbacks from our customers on Capterra or Software Suggest websites. Or if you want, we can connect back to you, and we can, if you want to talk to any of our clients, we can give your their number to you, and you can connect with them. So if no other questions from the participant, we will end this webinar. We'll just wait for 2 more minutes if anybody has any questions, and then we'll end this webinar. Thank you very much.
So, alright, I think with that, we come to end of the webinar. So, thank you, Vikas, and thanks to all the attendees who took time to be here with us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We'll be seeing everybody on the next webinar, and the recording will be shared to everyone shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good day ahead.